You know what's hilarious? Literally, like the last time that we talked, I at the very end, I was like, you're gonna go through an anger purge. You're gonna go through like this like time of just anger. And you're just gonna feel angry all of the time. I like at the end of the video I was like, I haven't even been feeling angry. Like I wonder why I even said that. And literally not even like I don't know, like not even an hour later, I get this like huge energy of just anger. And as a fire sign, like as a Leo, I think like the feeling of anger just scares me. It scares me so bad because I don't I feel like Aang, whenever he was learning firebending and he like slashes through and he accidentally burns Katara. I hope you understand that reference. But like after that, like he was so scared to like continue to learn firebending because he's like, this is gonna hurt the people I love. Like without even intentionally doing it, I'm going to hurt people, you know? And I feel like that's how I feel with my anger. It's like I wanna feel it, but I'm so scared of it hurting anyone else that it's not supposed to hurt. And lately I'm just like, well, how do I even feel it? Like how do I feel it without even expressing it? Because like I'm just like I never wanted to be like that angry man. You know how they say like if you grew up with an angry father, then there's going to be an angry man in your house. And I always thought like, well, I don't want to end up with an angry man. But then later on I discovered that I am the angry man. And I was like, man, that hurt me so bad to realize that, to be like, I'm the one that like gets angry over everything, but I always try to be like, I'm not the one getting angry. The world's full of anger, not me. And I would always try to deny it, like, whatever, we're not gonna feel our anger. We're gonna feel everything else. So we're gonna feel like, you know, our shame. Um, but with shame comes anger. But then I just like every single time I would think about shame, I would like be like, no, but I would just want to like cry about it. I don't want to feel it. Like I don't want to feel that anger of like the anger of just like realizing that I've created all of these like different versions of myself for everyone. Like this perfect little version for everybody. Like I was just like I want to be perfect to every single person. And I was just like, that's impossible. It's impossible to be that perfect person for everyone. Because then I started realizing, I was like, imagine, like, you have versions for every single one of these situations, any of these people, any of these groups, right? And then you realize, but what if they all were in the same room? Like, I started to think, like, that was the only way I could, like, move through all of these personas, is thinking, like, what if they were all in like the same room? Like how would you act? How would you know how to act if you have these perfect versions for everyone? When in reality, if you were just yourself around every single person, then you wouldn't have to be like, oh, time to put this different mask on. And I just got so angry because I was like, so many people know me as this like very gentle and kind person, when in reality it's like I try my best. That's who I want to be, right? Because I feel like around different people, it's who you want to be. And I was just like, I want to be gentle and soft and kind, but in reality, it's like I have to realize that there's also so much anger in me and so much like why did it have to happen to me, right? But then I realized that like I'm not the only one that went through it. I'm not the only one that went through all of this anger. And I feel like that's why it was like I think at age like 15, 16, I like finally decided I'm not having kids. Because I was like, I think I started like putting the puzzle pieces together, and I was just like, the anger that my parents don't feel is the anger that they're gonna give to me without even trying, because sometimes like I interact and I talk to my mom, And it's like she realizes that she was so like mean sometimes, and she felt so bad for it, right? And I would just sit there like now, and I would just be like, so she knew she was doing it and she couldn't help it, right? And I was just like, I can't do that to my kids. Like, I can't put them through what I've been through. Like, I don't want to give them the anger that I don't have the courage to feel. Like, I was just so scared to feel all of this anger. And I was just like, you know what? I can't continue on without like feeling and moving through this anger. Like, there's nothing I can do but feel it. And it scared me so bad. And I think I I kind of got um the feeling of I'm gonna feel my anger around like 15, 16, around that age. I would say I was like, I want to feel angry. But then it's like you don't know how to show that anger, you know, and then you snap on your parents and it's like the biggest deal ever, which I completely understand. As a parent, I would be extremely upset if my teenager was screaming at me. I completely understand, but I just wish that I had the words to explain why I was so angry. Like, all of the anger that you threw at me without even realizing has created this, like, just these balls of anger inside of me. And I suppressed my anger, like my angry teenage side, so much that now I'm able to put all the puzzle pieces together and look back at like my childhood and stuff and realize that, wow, no, everything had a reasoning and a meaning. So around this age, I would say I got like really, really bad sleep paralysis, like extremely, extremely bad, to the point that it kind of felt like I was in a Freddy Krueger movie. And anytime I would sleep, it felt like something was going to kill me. And it was like, how do I even explain this feeling to someone? Like, I feel like they're going to look at me so crazy if I like share this information. And I just didn't know like what this feeling was. So every single time I would fall asleep, it would feel like something or someone was on top of me, and it kind of felt like every single time I fell asleep, they were getting closer and closer to choking me, and it felt so weird. And I was like, how do I even explain this? Like, I didn't even have the words. Like, now I finally have the words for like why I believe I had sleep paralysis. And I had sleep paralysis. It started off when I was 15, and I believe it ended like it officially ended because I would have like periods of time where it would be really, really bad, and then other times where it wouldn't be so bad. Like, there were moments where it was like even if I took a nap, I would get sleep paralysis, and then there were moments in time where I would maybe get sleep paralysis once a week or once a month, and then boom, it would come back again, and it would be like it would feel like years with it. Well, technically it was years with it, but it just felt like consecutively it was horrible. Like, I want to say like 15 to, man, I would say maybe like 21. Yeah. I would say like 15 to 21. It was like the moment in time, like between these like moments in time, I was like, I feel like it would be easier to just then, deal with um this sleep paralysis that I was dealing with. And it was extremely bad, like to the point that I would probably go like days without sleeping. And I feel like that's why I have like permanent, like I look tired all the time, because for what, like 6 years I was like going days without sleeping, and like still trying to function at the same time. Like, that was probably like the worst time of my life. 15 to 21, I would say, like sleep wise, because how do you even explain that to someone, right? And now, even like even now, I feel like I don't know if I would explain that to anyone, but I just had like this like huge like I needed to tell someone, right? I needed to be vulnerable about it because like if someone had gone through the same thing, like I never realized like the spiritual meaning, right? Of spiritual I mean the spiritual meaning of sleep paralysis because I would look it up and they would be like, "Oh, it's just from stress. It's from, not sleeping enough." Um and just a whole list of things that I was like, well, I'm a teenager. I'm not really that stressed. Like there must be a reason why I'm feeling this, right? When I guess like now I feel like I should go on Reddit. Cuz every single time you search something up on Google, it's like, "Oh, there's always a Reddit form there just like with an answer, like someone's answer." And I feel like if anyone would go through that in the future, I would want to write something on there and just be like, you know, why you think, these are the reasons, spiritual reasons why you probably have sleep paralysis. And it's like that anger in me was so like so big and so tough that I was just like, was I still don't quite understand what it was. I don't know if it was just like future me trying to like, I don't know, choke me, or like my like true authentic self, like, or just like my anger just really coming and attacking my body. I still don't know exactly. I feel like that's like what I have in mind. I just know that my anger, I got like while I was sitting here meditating, it just like that epiphany just came. I was like, I think my anger is what, caused my sleep paralysis. How? I don't understand why or how it happens. The brain and emotions are phenomenal, and I'm not saying that like scientifically that's what happened, right? Like I don't have like physical proof and like, hey, scientifically this is what they're saying, but at least that's what I'm coming to the conclusion to, is that your anger can cause sleep paralysis. And I think if you've never had sleep paralysis before, then like it's really hard to explain what it feels like. But it's basically like I didn't even realize that there may be people that don't know what sleep paralysis, what it feels like. But it's like when you go to sleep and your body just feels like it's like glued to the bed, like it's like it is the bed. It pretty much feels like your body is just like tied down to the bed, and the only thing you can move is your eyes. You can't move your head, you can't scream, you can't talk, you can maybe nudge your finger just a little bit, like the smallest little amount, right? Like it's like you can't lift it up, but you can kind of wiggle it a little bit. And but you can see everything. During the day, I would say sleep paralysis is still pretty scary, but not as scary as like the nighttime, I would say. But um, nighttime, I could not sleep with mirrors in front of me. I could not sleep with mirrors in the room. I could not sleep with a TV in my room. And if the TV was in there, it needed to have something on TV, like some kind of like screensaver or something. It could not just be pitch black. Mainly because every single time I would have sleep paralysis, it felt like something was like, it would always look like something was crawling out, like the ring was crawling out of the mirror or like the TV. So whenever I saw Scary Movie 3, because I never saw, maybe I did see the ring, but maybe I didn't have sleep paralysis yet. Because when I saw the ring, I was pretty young. And I don't think it, but now thinking about it, like whenever I saw Scary Movie 3, because I guess maybe I saw the ring too young for it to scare me, because the only the only memory I have of that um of that scene is from Scary Movie 3, is when she, goes through their TV. It's like, Sydney. But that's kind of what it looked like. It kind of looked like someone crawling through like the mirror of the TV. So I was deadly afraid of mirrors and TVs or anything that would reflect. I would just so scared of it. And now it's like now that I'm like I've been moving through my anger for probably since I was like 20, I would say like 20 all the way to now and I'm 27. So I started kind of moving through it when I was 20, but I think I'm finally like to that stage of like letting it go. Because you have a moment where you're just feeling it. And then now I'm to the point that I've felt this anger so much. Like I've replayed these moments of anger so much that it's like I'm ready to let them go. Like I'm ready to like I think I don't think I know. I know and I feel that I've learned through this anger. Like I know not to leave anger there without acknowledging it at least. I'm like I'm done putting like emotions on a pedestal, like showing like happiness is like the best thing to feel and anger should be like the very bottom. Like you should not put any emotion on a pedestal. Um some of the things, because I write notes on my phone sometimes when I get these like messages, these thoughts, especially like right after meditating. And today at work, I was like, you know what? I can be angry and still feel good. I can be sad and still feel good. Like, I can feel these emotions and still feel good. Still give myself permission to feel good. Like, I can be angry and frustrated at everything that day, at everyone that day, but I can still feel good. Like, I can still feel this anger, but I don't have to feel it all day. I can just give it a moment to like feel it, acknowledge it, and then be like, I understand that I have this anger. I'm feeling through it and I'm acknowledging that I'm angry about this situation or about this, and I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to voice that I'm angry or that I'm upset. Um, I have hibiscus tea. I think it, I don't know why, but like hibiscus, Jamaica, has like been something that I've loved all of my life. So anytime I'm meditating, I always need hibiscus tea. It just like, I don't know, makes me happy. It makes me feel good. It's not hot anymore. I feel like that's the good thing about like Jamaica tea of hibiscus tea is that like you can drink it at any temperature. At least I can. Like I can drink it with ice. I can drink it like extremely hot, or I can drink it room temperature. Like it's perfect all like every single way. So I've been seeing a lot of like butterflies and dragonflies, which makes me really happy. Especially I want to say like the dragonfly part is making me really happy because if because I'm starting to realize patterns. And when I first saw dragonflies like come around a lot in my life, I went through like the biggest like beautiful transformation. Like the best transformation ever. Like I went from this like this angry teenager, angry adult that just hated the world into something softer and kinder. Like obviously like we weren't acknowledging our pain very much at this point, but we just didn't want to be angry anymore. So even if we had to play a part, even if we had to be delusional and be like, I'm not angry, I'm not gonna crash out. Like, I don't want to crash out. Like, I don't want to be known as someone who crashes out all the time. But honestly, maybe I wouldn't have minded if I could have um, skipped all that sleep paralysis phase of my life. That was that was pretty tough. And I started realizing like sometimes whenever I'm like making like these videos, right? I like try to show up as like this like the best version of myself for myself. Like I want to like look back at the video and be like it seems like she's doing so well, right? And now I'm like, you know what? I'm even having a facade for myself. I even have this like facade that I'm just like I'm okay even to myself. And I was like, girlfriend, you're not okay. You need to acknowledge that you're angry. You need to acknowledge that you're frustrated and that you're just done with all these cycles, all these old things. Like I feel like this is like what I'm feeling like. So I have this, I'm gonna grab it real quick actually. I have this drawing that I did last night. Um I feel like it's better if I show you and then I explain. Okay. I hope I have enough room to show you. Um so the reason why I decided to draw this, I was listening to like new metal. I I was just like, man, I have all of this anger that I just want to feel, right? I was like, I have all of this anger that I want to feel. I need to feel. And like heavy metal music, new metal, and all of this is always like I've had like a very special place in my heart for like Pierce the Veil and like Sleeping with Sirens. Like they would have this like, you know, I really loved their music. But like anything like Rage Against the Machine and Korn and man, there's other bands that the band Slipknot that really scared me, and I never really wanted to listen to it because it's just like man, they're feeling their anger, and I just I can't, I can't relate because I'm not. I wish I could feel my anger like that, so I would never listen to these types, you know, this type of music. And I want to say like when I was like 17, I started liking like heavy metal. Like I started really liking like it wasn't all heavy metal, but it was like this like edgy period of my life. And I was like listening to Suicide Boys and Trippie Redd, Korn, Slipknot, you know, Pierce the Veil, Sleeping with Sirens. Um, I would be listening to them and Oliver Sky. Is that his name? Oh, Bring Me the Horizon. I think, you know, I would just listen to these songs and just I was like I want to feel this anger, but I want to feel it through music. And so I started really liking that music, and then that phase of me started phasing out, right? I was like, man, I have to start acting like the adult that I want to be because I don't know. For some reason I was like adults don't listen to this type of music. Like everyone would be like only teenagers listen to like Pierce the Veil and all of this stuff. Like grow up and start feeling, you know, start acting like you're okay. And so I went through a phase of my life where I stopped listening to it all completely because I was like, I'm not a teenager anymore. I don't know whose idea or whose that was, but I integrated it into my life and I'm back to listening. Well, I never really stopped. I always had them on my playlist, but I would never like listen to them in public or like ever acknowledge that I liked them. You know, like people would be like, "Oh, you know, what type of music are you listening to?" And I'd be like, "I don't know. Like, who should I even say?" And like, I never really had a genre. I would just add different songs to my playlist and be like, "This sounds normal, right?" So I was never really myself, even to myself. Back to the drawings. Um, yeah, that's what inspired the drawing was listening to new metal, like listening to it. There you go. So let me explain what's going on here. So this is me, right? This is me just letting all this anger out. But this is like different versions of myself. Like this is like I'm like stepping on some people. Well, not some people. Like different versions of myself, or like different personas of myself, and then I like beheaded two of them, and then I beheaded two more, but then I put them on a stick. I have like sticks here in my backyard. They used to have like scarecrows on them, and for some reason when I was out here meditating, I was imagining like pretty much every single version that like I didn't like and that wasn't me. So then I was like, you know what? I can just set them on a stick, and then all of this is blood coming out. I hope this isn't like too bad for YouTube. I never really thought about that. This is just ketchup. No violence here. No, there's no nothing. This is just my angry teen coming out. YouTube. It's just my anger of my angry teen coming out. And then me being a fire sign, I added some fire back here. And then here is me right now. This is exactly what I feel like. I feel like I'm just like I'm holding on with everything in my might to not like being so scared of my anger. I'm like I want to survive. I want to be okay. And like this is like my I want to say like maybe my ego just being like I don't want to get burnt. I don't want to get hurt, but every version of myself that I don't need needs to burn away, you know? And then here's a full moon here in the back. Um, there's a lot of like scribbles and stuff because this is just a little rough. I don't. So originally this one was supposed to be like under a rock or something, so that's why there's like, you know, all this ketchup right here. But then I changed my mind and just decided to just do all fire. So now this doesn't really make any sense, but that's okay. That's okay. But yeah, this is it. This is what I this is what I drew, and it's not like the most phenomenal art that I've made, but it's like the truest art that I've made. Because like if you've seen any of my art that I've done in the past, it's just like all this like cutesy stuff, like all this like really pretty stuff, but it's like that's not really me. But I really like painting all this cutesy stuff, but I wish I could, draw this all the time. And so I just lost motivation to paint and draw all in general because I was like, people don't want to see this like violent side of me. I like convinced myself that no one wants to see this violent side of me. So I just like I just didn't have any energy to do any commissions, anything to do with art. I would just be like, I'm not doing it. I don't care if it's paying me, if it's not paying me, I don't want to do it because it's not going to be me. And so I just quit art altogether. I was just like, I'm done with it. Like, if I feel like I can't be myself and I don't know why, so I might as well just stop and not burn myself out to the point that I never want to paint ever again. So I basically just stopped it altogether. Even like I would do stuff like small little drawings and stuff for myself. Um, oh, I actually have another drawing in here, I think. So I was thinking of like hopefully you can see it fine. It looks better if there's not that much light. But this is what I would imagine um it would look like when I was having sleep paralysis. It's not a mirror per se, but like if there was any type of light and like in the room, like just trying to like um light up all the darkness. And it this also feels like it represents like me just trying to be the light and something trying to like squish the light out of me, maybe like the Matrix or something. I don't exactly know, quite sure if that is the second meaning, but this is like really was inspired by my sleep paralysis, and like if I were to have like a nightlight or something in the room, um, it didn't ever help. But this is what this looks like. Hopefully you can see that. It looks a lot better if there's not that much light, because it's this drawing is really dark. Like there's rarely any light. Like I didn't use anything. I just like used like the eraser as highlights. So like this being really light maybe takes away from it being really dark, but it's really dark. It just keeps correcting itself. But that's basically what I would see, and this is like my face right here, but then this is like unknown hands. Like I have no idea. Like, you know, I would say it's my anger, you know, now thinking about it. But this is the one I put all like my drawings on. Oh, there's a little cardinal. Because it's any like, and I use Crayola for all of my like the cheapest thing I can use. So because I don't know why, but for some reason if I buy really expensive like paints or expensive anything to do with art, I don't want to use them. I'm just like I don't want to use them. I want to like use it for commissions or something, but not for myself. Because then I'm like it's like I'm using product and then not getting paid for it. You know, that's like the mentality that I was getting, and I was like, I want to get out of that mentality, and so I just decided to buy these notebooks. I think I bought like a three set for like I don't know, $12 maybe. I bought them like 2 or 3 years ago, and I never gave myself permission to draw in them, and I'm finally drawing in them, and I was like, man, I don't have anything that I can like color with, right? And then I was like, man, I want the best coloring pencils, and I'm like, come on, if you buy the best coloring pencils are the most expensive. I wouldn't say just because it's expensive, it's not the best. But for some reason, I've put those together. If they're expensive, then they're good. But I don't know why, but I'm like super surprised with like the quality of Crayola. I don't know if I just like thought it was horrible as a kid, but Crayola is really good. Like it's really good. Like it's really smooth. Like obviously it doesn't like if you want like a realistic drawing or anything, maybe it's not the best, you know? But like if you're just like drawing something out of like really just you, your core, and not caring about what it looks like, just caring that you can tell what it's supposed to be. And like I realized that maybe like well not I don't know why I said maybe, but like I was like, damn, I just saw 33. But I was like, damn, like the Crayola's really good. Like it does the job. Like I feel so good after drawing that. And that used to be like my drawing style as a kid. I want to say like first grade. That was like my style, but I guess maybe adults found it too aggressive because I would always put like fire and blood in all my paintings. Like those two were always in my paintings or my drawings as a kid. And I feel like obviously if how old are you in first grade? Like 8 years old, I think. So I was like 8. And I'm pretty sure that's concerning, like seeing an 8-year old drawing that. So I mean, I don't blame them, but I kind of like, because you have to realize that yes, I was an 8-year old, but how many times? Because I believe in reincarnation, right? So how many times was I reincarnated? Like how old was I? Because I my soul remembers being here, but this body is young. But I feel like I've always been really old. I've always felt old, like an old soul. Um, it's like I finally got to that like reincarnation part where I was like, damn, I think I remember who I am as a kid. Like I remember all of this like ancestral anger, maybe. I think that, and I felt all this ancestral anger, and then I felt it in real life. Mm, I don't know, because at 8 years old, um, we've I had already experienced like pretty bad anger in my life, like a lot of I already had a lot of anger at that time, so I feel like it would make sense. I was like working through. It just feels like this anger has been there for ages. Like even before this life. There's some kind of connection to it, I believe. I believe that to be true. Um and I feel like that's why at such a young age I was drawing like this. And it feels like um I've like put a little bookmark, like I'll be back and I'll like draw something like this when I'm an adult. Like maybe as a kid I was like discouraged from drawing like that, so maybe I like forgot about it or was made to forget about it maybe. So now I'm like realizing like, man, that was my style as a kid. Man, like I want to go back to that style even if it's not like quote unquote like, because I always compare myself anytime I draw something. I'm just like, man, but it's not as good as like what other people are doing. But like, man, this is a lot better than anything I've ever drawn. Like these two drawings that I just showed you are probably the two best drawings I've ever done. Mainly because it's like really who I am, and like it's helping me discover like this anger has been in me way longer than I realized. But yeah, I just felt like making this video and being like, if you're angry, me too. Me too. And even if you're extremely kind, like it doesn't mean that like you have to be angry to everyone. Obviously, you can choose your own route with your anger. Now, for me, it's like it kind of feels like holding back your fire while you're around people that you really love. Like you're just like, I love you and I don't want to spill this on you. So I'm going to interact with you as least as possible. That's how I feel with everyone right now. It's like I'm trying to interact with everyone as least as possible. So then, whenever I'm alone out here in nature, I can just let it out and just like burn everything around me and make sure that I'm only burning myself and making sure that I'm burning everything out of my life. I don't know what they're called. I always forget what they're called, but those angels, I got a very like vivid image of me being this like this angel, those angels with like a whole bunch of wings and eyes everywhere. So I saw a TikTok. Um I think I saw a TikTok, or either I looked it up, because I think I saw it in like my vision at some point, and I got really obsessed with them, and I didn't understand why at that moment. I want to say like a year ago I got really obsessed with them. And I really wanted to be one for Halloween, but I guess no one wants to be one of those angels. And so I think I looked up that they like burn everything. So they were like, if a human were to interact with one, right, or like see one, they would burn to flames, like they would bust into flames. But now I'm understanding that it didn't even mean like our body would combust into flames. It would just be that like everything that no longer serves you is burning away. Like the person you want to be for this angel is burning away, and it's able to see who you really are, right? And so for some reason I envision myself as this like angel with all of these wings and all of these eyes, like being able to like understand like I'm not gonna burn anybody on purpose, right? But I am going to burn things out of my life that no longer serve me. And I'm going to like be like this so if anyone doesn't want the best for me, they'll just immediately leave my life. Like they can't handle being around me because I'm like literally burning away like the facade they think that they're convincing me of. You know? That's how I've always felt. Like anytime I meet people, I'm always like, I don't like that person. And people have always been like, there's nothing wrong with them. Like, you know, I don't see anything bad about them, right? And I'd be like, you don't see it yet. You don't see it yet, but I am seeing it as clear as day. And I've always been like that. I've always been like that. Even as a kid, I would meet adults and I would like my parents would be like, "What's wrong?" And I'd be like, I didn't like that person. That person is giving me this I can't trust them vibe, and I don't know why. They have not shown me that I can't trust them. I just have this feeling. And as a kid, I would really ignore this feeling. I would always be like, this is, you know, it's not really, I'm just being crazy, you know? Because everyone would always tell me I was crazy if I felt that. So I never learned to trust it. But then I want to say maybe at like 25, maybe maybe a little younger than that. No, younger than that. I would say like maybe 20 years old. I started really listening to it, like really listening to it, and I was just like, wow. So everybody in my life, like whenever I would like, because whenever I felt like I turned into this angel, right? I feel like I've always been this angel, but whenever I fully like wanted to burn something away, like whenever I first decided to trust myself, right? It felt like boom, it felt like I was losing people left and right, and I was like, oh my god, like what is going on? Like I'm just trying to see, and then boom, it felt like everybody left my life, like out of nowhere. Like, and I've had these moments even as a kid. Like I would have all of these friends and like all of these people that I would talk to, especially in high school. I would have all these friends that I would talk to, and then boom, like I was like, I just really want to know like who really is my friend or who can I really trust, you know? And then it would be like boom, I felt like I would like transform into this angel, and like and then it felt like everyone just stopped talking to me. Like maybe I would have like, because let's say like I had like 15 people that I would talk to like all the time in high school, and then whenever I was like, I really want to just get rid of everyone, you know, everyone that's not here for me or not serving me. And then boom, it felt like it narrowed down to like 4 people. I would say, yeah, it like narrowed down to like 4 or 5 people that I actually was like, if anything, if I was going through anything, I could really talk to them. It was like 4 people that I was like, I think I could trust you guys. It feels like I can trust you guys. But I was still at that age where I couldn't trust anybody. Like, I wanted to trust people and I wanted to tell them what was going on. But at the same time, it's like, I still wanted them to think I was perfect. I still wanted them to think that my life was perfect. Because it seemed like everyone else's life was perfect and no one was going through anything. At least, no one would really say anything. And then I started realizing that, like, man, what if I had just been honest with, like, my friends back then? Like, I always imagine, like, how much closer will we be today? Because I don't really talk to anybody that I used to talk to in high school. Like, I don't talk to anybody. But, like, imagine how much closer I would be with them if I had just been honest about how I felt. I think about that all the time. Like, what if I had the courage to just authentically be me in high school? how many people would I still have in my life? Because I miss that, like, that type of friendships, because everyone that I'm friends with today, um is really not, like, I don't really have any of my own friends. I have just like my husband's friends, like my husband's friends' wives are my friends, you know, and I don't take them for granted at all because I love them, and I love that I can have a friendship within my husband's friendship, but I don't have anyone that's like, they don't know my husband, but they know me and they're like close to me. I don't have anybody like that in my life that I'm just like, I have this person that I'm friends with. Like, only, like, I wouldn't say like just only me, right? But like, between like my husband and like all of this other group of friends, they don't know each other. Like, I don't have that friend, because all of my friends are their friends, you know? And it's just like, man, like, maybe it's because I still can't like really talk about my emotions with, I mean, like, I can talk about my emotions now, but like, let's say if someone from high school were to talk to me, right, I would still like have this persona of like, everything's okay, everything's chill, like, but in reality it's like I'm holding on to a thread, and I'm just trying to survive. Like, I'm holding on to this speckle of hope, and I feel like I'm gonna crash out at any moment. That's how I feel. So like, I feel like I'm really glad that maybe no one's in my life right now, because I'd be like, how embarrassing. How embarrassing would it be to just be like, for them to be like, hey, remember when you wanted to crash out every single day? And I'm like, oh, yep, I do remember that. Like, my husband probably sees that version of me, and like my siblings see that version of me, but no one else really sees that version of me of, I am on the verge of a crash out every single moment of my life. But man, feeling this anger, like fully being able to feel it and let it go, feels so like, so amazing. And it's like, man, I feel so light and like a new person right now. Oh, my chapstick has been sitting in the sun while I'm over here talking. And I did not mean for all of that to get on my lips. That's a lot. It like melted on my lips. Whoops. Let me put this in the shade. It's really windy out here. So my lips are, and I'm like still a little sick. So I'm breathing through my mouth a lot. So my lips are getting dry. My mouth is getting dry too. I need some latte. Depending on like how long I'm gonna be here, like out here, like meditating, sometimes I get like a really small cup of tea, and sometimes I get like a huge cup of tea. Like, this is like a medium size, but sometimes I get like a tumbler full of tea if I'm gonna be out here for a really long time. But I didn't realize that like everything in the sun is like baking right now. Like, it's baking really bad. Because it feels good in the shade, because like that wind is really beautiful and nice. But everything that's like, that the sun is touching is like a baking it, like heating it, like, because I think right now, like, in the shade, I would say like it's like 70 degrees, and then like in the sun it's like easily like 85 degrees, maybe, probably a little bit more. That the sun is really here to sun. Like, during springtime, the sun is like a hit or miss. Sometimes it's really, really strong, and then sometimes it's like Hmm. I never really see it. But it's really depressing when I don't see it. And I love seeing the sun. I love being in the sun. I love the sun so much. I don't really remember what I was talking about. So I think that's it for right now. I think I just wanted to update you on that the anger era, the anger purge is happening. And you're getting through it like a fucking champ. High five. You're getting through it like a fucking champ. And what did we say? We said we know we're gonna be okay. We already said, I know I'm gonna be okay. 'Cause I'm not scared of none of my emotions. These emotions, baby, can come and go. I'm gonna be okay because I deserve to feel good. Okay, I love you. I'm going to put some sun protection on because I still want to be out here, but I don't want to be burnt too crisp. So I love you. Um, and I know you're doing a lot better because you're getting tired of these old cycles. You're getting tired of these dumb, old, stupid cycles. Like, you're like, I'm fucking done. I'm fucking done with everything. As you should be. I saw 5115, a mirrored number. You're a bad bitch. I hope you know that. And you're gonna continue to be a bad bitch. Okay. I love you.